Let me tell you something about men. See, men don't just sit around and say, hey, bro, let's share our feelings today. That's not how it works. If you're waiting on that, you'll be waiting a long time. Men bond differently. And there's really only one time you'll see it happen. It's not over some deep heart-to-heart conversation at the coffee shop. It happens through struggle, challenge, or mission. Men don't naturally bond through casual conversations. This is something that often confuses people, especially women, who are used to connecting by talking things out, sharing feelings, and opening up in conversations over coffee or on the phone. For men, it's different. A man can know another guy for years, spend time around him, and still not know the little details of his personal life, because that's not how their connections usually form. To understand why, you've got to look at how men are wired and what really drives their sense of connection. For men, conversation is not the glue that holds relationships together. Interaction usually has to be tied to an activity or a shared experience. Men don't typically wake up in the morning and call a friend just to talk about what they're feeling or what they're worried about. That doesn't mean men don't have emotions. It just means they don't lead with them. Their emotions get expressed in different ways, through action, through humor, through showing up, or through sticking by someone in tough times. A man might not tell you he's proud of you in words, but he'll show up when you need him, help you when you're struggling, or stand by your side when the world seems heavy. That's how he communicates. Respect, care, and loyalty. Think about this. Two men can sit down and watch a game together, barely exchange more than a handful of words, and still walk away feeling like they had a great time. To them, the bond is in the presence, in the act of sharing that moment. Compare that to women who might spend that same time in long conversations, unpacking feelings, venting frustrations, or encouraging each other. Neither way is better or worse. They're just different. For men, talking is often secondary. Doing something together is what lays the foundation for trust. This is why many male friendships are born in places of action. The military, sports teams, work environments, or even just going through a tough patch in life together. These situations give men the kind of shared struggle or shared mission that creates closeness. A man may not remember all the words another man said to him, but he will remember who was in the trenches with him, who lifted the load, who stayed until the job was finished. That builds a bond that's stronger than any casual conversation could ever create. Another part of this is the way respect works for men. Respect is like the doorway to emotional connection. If a man doesn't respect you, he won't open up to you. And for respect to grow, he usually has to see what you do, not just what you say. That's why casual conversations often feel empty to him. He's looking for substance, for proof, for something that shows consistency. Once respect is built, conversations take on a whole new meaning. He can then share, open up, and let you into his world, but only after he knows you're real. It's not that men can't talk deeply. In fact, when the conditions are right, men can have some of the most powerful, vulnerable, and meaningful conversations. But those conversations usually come after the foundation is laid, not before. That's why casual small talk often doesn't hit the same for them. It doesn't create trust. It doesn't create proof of loyalty. They need to see action first, and then the words flow naturally. So when you understand that men don't naturally bond through casual conversations, you stop expecting them to connect the way you might connect. You start to see that their silence doesn't mean distance, and their lack of constant chatter doesn't mean they don't care. It means they're wired to bond differently. For them, connection is built in the fire of doing, in the grind of showing up, in the quiet strength of being there. And once that bond is built, it doesn't need constant words to keep it alive. It's unspoken, it's understood, and it's often unbreakable. True bonding happens in struggle, challenge, or a shared mission. If you think about the strongest friendships or partnerships in your life, chances are they weren't built in times of ease. They were forged when things weren't going smoothly, when life tested you, or when you had to push beyond what was comfortable. That's because real closeness isn't built on convenience. It's built in the trenches of effort, sacrifice, and persistence. When two people face a struggle together, it strips away the masks. Struggle reveals who you are at your core. It shows your patience, your resilience, your attitude under pressure, and your willingness to keep going when quitting looks easier. In those moments, you can't hide behind charm or small talk. You are forced to reveal your real character. And when someone sees that part of you and still chooses to stand with you, a deeper connection is formed. It's no longer about appearances or casual interest. It's about survival, loyalty, and trust. Think about soldiers who go to war. They may not even know each other when they start, but after surviving combat together, they return home with a bond that can't be broken. It's not because they had long conversations about their feelings every night. It's because they fought side by side, protected each other, and endured the same hardships. That shared mission carved a connection into their souls. The same principle applies to men working long, grueling hours on the same job site, athletes sweating through training camps, or even friends tackling tough financial struggles together. The fire of adversity burns away surface level connection and leaves behind something real. Challenge works the same way. When you and someone else are both working towards something hard, whether it's starting a business, preparing for a competition, or even fixing something that seems impossible, that shared challenge binds you. You celebrate the little victories together. You complain about the setbacks, and you pick each other up when motivation runs low. Over time, the struggle becomes the glue. You may not remember every detail of the journey, but you'll remember who was there grinding with you. You'll remember the laughter that came in the middle of frustration, the words of encouragement when you wanted to give up, and the relief of reaching the finish line together. The power of a shared mission is just as strong. When two or more people are chasing the same purpose, they align their energy and their sacrifices towards something bigger than themselves. That mission could be as serious as saving lives in a hospital, as demanding as building a company from scratch, or as personal as helping a friend get back on their feet. Whatever it is, it forces unity. A shared mission teaches accountability, trust, and reliability. You learn who you can count on when the weight gets heavy. And once you know someone will show up for the mission, you know they'll show up for you. This is why casual connections often fade away, while bonds born in challenge last a lifetime. It's easy to be around someone when things are going well. It doesn't cost you much. But when things get tough, when resources are low, when stress is high, only the people truly invested remain. And those who remain, those who push through the fire with you, earn a permanent place in your heart. True bonding doesn't come from comfort, because comfort doesn't test anything. You don't really know someone until you've seen how they handle pressure, loss, or exhaustion. Struggle shows you who they are, and it shows them who you are. And when both of you keep showing up anyway, despite the hardship, a powerful connection forms. One that doesn't need words, one that doesn't weaken with distance, one that lasts. Action comes before emotion. This is a truth many people overlook, especially when it comes to how men connect and build trust. Too often, we expect words to come first, as if someone should explain how they feel before they prove it. But for men, emotions rarely lead the way. It's the actions, the consistency, and the willingness to show up that open the door for feelings to develop and be expressed. A man doesn't usually say, "I trust you," and then act like it. He acts in a way that demonstrates trust, and over time, the feeling follows. If he respects you, you'll see it in how he supports you, how he includes you, how he stands up for you. If he doesn't respect you, no amount of talk will convince him otherwise. Action is the foundation. Without it, words don't mean much. This is why male friendships often seem quiet on the surface. Two men can spend hours together without much emotional talk, but their loyalty shows up in small, consistent ways. One will give the other a ride without hesitation. One will show up to help move furniture without needing thanks. One will cover the other in a moment of weakness without asking for recognition. These actions are the proof of care, and only after enough of them build up does the emotional bond become obvious. Think about it in terms of sports or the workplace. You don't trust your teammate just because he tells you he's got your back. You trust him when he runs the play, takes the hit, or stays late to finish the job with you. His actions show where his loyalty lies. And once you've seen enough proof, your emotions catch up. You feel comfortable opening up, sharing more, relying on him, not just in the game, but in life. But it never starts with the emotion. It starts with the action. This principle also explains why empty promises mean so little to men. Words alone don't carry weight unless they're backed up by behavior. A man may not tell his friend often that he values him, but he'll prove it in the way he stands by him through hard times. He may not say, "I love you" often, but he'll show it by working, protecting, and sacrificing for those he cares about. For men, the doing communicates louder than the saying. And when the doing is consistent, the emotions can be trusted. Action before emotion also protects against false connections. It's easy for someone to say the right words, to talk about loyalty, friendship, or respect. But without action, those emotions don't take root. Men tend to withhold their deeper trust until they see something real. They want to know, will you show up when it's inconvenient? Will you stand by me when it's costly? Will you still be here when things get ugly? If the answer is yes, shown through actions, then the emotional wall comes down. Without those actions, the bond never forms. Even in family and relationships, this plays out the same way. Men connect with people who do, not just people who talk. They build trust with those who stand beside them, share the workload, or prove loyalty through deeds. And once that pattern of action is established, their emotions have a safe place to grow. They can then open up, express vulnerability, and let the connection deepen. But without that initial action, words alone won't spark that emotional bond. The truth is, emotion built on action is stronger and more lasting. It isn't just a feeling that fades. It's a conviction grounded in evidence. You've seen the proof. You've lived through the moments. And now the emotion carries weight. That's why action always comes before emotion. It creates the space where trust can live. And once trust is alive, emotions can finally flow freely. Respect is the foundation. Without it, no bond can last, no friendship can thrive, and no relationship can stand strong. Respect is not just about politeness or courtesy. It goes much deeper. It is about seeing someone's value, acknowledging their worth, and treating them in a way that affirms their dignity. For men especially, respect is the doorway to everything else. Before trust, before emotion, before loyalty, there must be respect. When two men meet, their interaction is rarely about instant closeness or vulnerability. Instead, the first thing they silently evaluate is whether they can respect each other. Respect doesn't always mean admiration for achievements or possessions. Often it comes from the way someone carries themselves, how they handle pressure, or how they treat other people. Respect grows when actions are consistent, when words align with behavior, and when someone proves that they can be counted on. Without that foundation, nothing else matters, because men struggle to bond with those they do not respect. Think about a team setting. A man doesn't automatically follow another just because of a title. He follows when he sees discipline, fairness, and commitment. Respect is earned through effort and integrity. On the flip side, if someone cuts corners, disrespects others, or shows inconsistency, the respect dissolves, and so does the bond. Men don't invest emotionally in someone they don't look up to in at least one way. That doesn't mean one must be perfect, but there must be something solid to respect, whether it's honesty, work ethic, courage, or reliability. Respect also plays a key role in how men communicate. Many men don't express emotions openly until they know respect exists on both sides. Respect makes them feel safe to share because it tells them they won't be judged, mocked, or betrayed. When respect is present, even silence feels comfortable. Two men can sit without speaking, and the quiet itself feels like connection. Without respect, however, even long conversations feel empty because deep down, there's no trust in the other person's character. In relationships beyond friendship, respect still remains the cornerstone. A man may enjoy company, humor, or even shared interests with someone, but if he doesn't respect them, the bond will always remain surface level. Respect is what transforms casual acquaintance into loyalty. It's what makes someone show up in difficult times, what makes a man sacrifice, and what makes him stay committed. Disrespect even in small doses, chips away at the foundation until eventually the bond collapses. Another truth about respect is that it is mutual. Men may test each other in subtle ways, not always through words, but through observation. They want to see how the other reacts under stress, how he treats people who can't offer him anything, how he handles success or failure. These little moments build or break respect. Once mutual respect is established, it creates a sense of balance. There's no need for constant explanation, no need to prove oneself every day, because respect silently holds the relationship steady. The beauty of respect is that it makes bonds unshakable. Two men who respect each other may argue, disagree, or even distance themselves for a time, but the respect will pull them back together. It acts like a safety net, keeping the bond intact despite conflict. Without it, however, even the smallest disagreement can lead to a permanent split. That's how powerful the foundation of respect is. So when we say respect is the foundation, we mean it literally. You can't build trust without it. You can't expect loyalty without it. You can't open the door to emotion without it. Respect is the soil in which every other part of connection grows. And once it's in place, everything else, trust, loyalty, love, and vulnerability, can rise strong and last for a lifetime. Struggle forges stronger bonds. Nothing brings people closer than facing difficulties side by side. Comfort can make life easy, but it rarely builds depth in relationships. Struggle, on the other hand, has a way of stripping everything down to the essentials. It reveals who people really are, what they stand for, and how much they're willing to endure for one another. When two people walk through hardship together, they come out on the other side with a connection that is tougher, deeper, and more lasting than anything built in good times. Struggle has a unique power because it demands authenticity. When life is smooth, it's easy to smile, easy to laugh, and easy to pretend. But in the middle of pain, stress, or loss, the mask fall away. You see who is patient, who is strong, who is compassionate, and who runs when things get difficult. In those moments, relationships are tested. And the ones that survive, those built on loyalty and presence in hard times, are the ones that can withstand anything in the future. Think about friends who've been through financial hardship together. Maybe they struggled to pay rent, shared meals when money was short, or encouraged each other to keep pushing when the future looked uncertain. Those memories never fade. Years later, even if both men are successful, they still carry the bond of having endured the storm together. The struggle became the glue. It wasn't about words. It was about showing up when there was little to give. That's the kind of connection that lasts. The same happens in sports or in the military. Teammates sweating through practices, running until their legs burn, or fighting through a grueling season don't just develop skills. They develop trust. Soldiers enduring the heat of battle, the weight of fear, and the grind of survival don't just become colleagues. They become brothers. It's the shared struggle that makes the bond unshakable. Without the pain, without the challenge, there would be no depth to the connection. Struggle also builds gratitude. When someone stands with you through your lowest moment, you never forget it. You might forget the jokes, the easy conversations, or even the good times, but you will always remember who was there when you were broken. Gratitude for that presence strengthens the bond in ways that nothing else can. It creates loyalty, not because it's demanded, but because it's earned through sacrifice. Another reason struggle forges bonds is because it equalizes people. In hardship, it doesn't matter how much money you have, what status you hold, or how successful you've been. Pain is pain. Pressure is pressure. Struggle strips away the layers of pride and forces people to rely on each other as equals. That shared humanity makes connections more genuine. Men who may have never opened up otherwise suddenly find themselves trusting each other in the fire of adversity. The truth is, comfort makes weak bonds. Struggle makes strong ones. You can spend years in comfort with someone and not truly know them, but spend one season of hardship together and you'll know more about about their character than in all the years of ease. You'll know whether they quit or keep going, whether they blame or take responsibility, whether they vanish or stay by your side. And that knowledge becomes the foundation of trust. In the end, struggle doesn't just challenge people, it connects them. It forges relationships that can't be broken by distance, time, or disagreement. The memory of surviving something together becomes a permanent link. That's why bonds built in hardship feel so solid. They were tested in the fire and came out stronger. Struggle isn't easy, but it is powerful. And those who endure it together carry a bond that nothing else can replace. Comfort doesn't build closeness. Challenge does. Comfort may feel good, it may bring ease, and it may create moments of pleasure, but it does not carve out deep bonds between people. Comfort is smooth, but smooth surfaces don't hold together when pressure is applied. Real closeness is built through the rough edges of life, the moments that require effort, sacrifice, and grit. When everything is comfortable, there is nothing testing the strength of a relationship. Without that test, you never truly know the depth of the bond. In comfortable times, it is easy to say the right words, to play the role of friend, to smile and laugh. But when everything is easy, loyalty doesn't have to prove itself. You don't need to ask for help, so you don't know who would actually show up. You don't need support, so you don't know who you can truly lean on. Comfort conceals the truth because there's nothing to separate those who are genuinely invested from those who are only there for convenience. Challenge, however, does the opposite. It exposes reality. When you go through a difficult situation with someone, you find out quickly who is reliable and who is not. Challenge demands presence. It demands sacrifice. It demands effort that comfort never requires. And those who step up in those moments show you that their commitment is real. This is why men bond more deeply in challenge. It's not the laughter in the easy times that cements loyalty. It's the grind, the fight, and the endurance through the storm. Think about the workplace. A team can get along just fine when business is running smoothly, but the true test comes when deadlines are crushing, resources are low, or failure seems close. That is when the strongest bonds are built. When colleagues roll up their sleeves, stay late, and push together. Later on, even after the crisis has passed, the memory of that challenge becomes a source of pride and connection. They remember not just what they achieved, but who stood shoulder to shoulder with them. The same is true in friendships. People may enjoy each other's company in good times, but the bond doesn't deepen until they face a challenge together. Maybe it's helping one another through loss, financial struggles, or health problems. Maybe it's pursuing a dream that feels impossible and encouraging each other to keep going. Whatever the challenge, it's in those difficult moments that trust and respect grow. You don't forget who answered the phone when you were at your lowest. You don't forget who gave their time, their energy, or even their last dollar to help you through. Challenge leaves a permanent imprint. In relationships, comfort can be enjoyable, but it often leads to complacency. Without some form of challenge, without growth, the bond can weaken over time. Couples that endure trials, whether financial strain, raising children, or rebuilding after setbacks, often discover that those challenges made them stronger. They don't enjoy the struggle while it's happening, but looking back, they realize it brought them closer. The comfort didn't do that. The challenge did. Challenge also brings out honesty. In comfort, people can hide behind appearances. They can avoid tough conversations or present only their best selves. But when things get hard, masks fall off. You see who someone really is, how they react under stress, and what values they hold when it costs them something. That raw honesty creates a deeper connection because the bond is no longer based on assumptions or surface impressions. It's based on truth. Closeness requires roots, and roots only grow deep when tested by wind and storms. If life were always comfortable, roots would stay shallow. The wind of challenge forces them to grow deeper, just as hardship forces bonds to grow stronger. Comfort may be pleasant, but it doesn't test loyalty, it doesn't demand sacrifice, and it doesn't reveal character. Only challenge does that. So while comfort makes life easier, it doesn't make relationships meaningful. The real closeness you carry with someone comes from knowing you've both been through something together and made it out stronger. It's the challenges that turn acquaintances into brothers, teammates into family, and partners into lifelong companions. Comfort fades, but challenge builds bonds that last forever.